The Toronto Raptors started this game at 6 o'clock, 6:10, 6:11. You know these games. They start a little bit late. And we're having a live stream at 9:20, which means a lot of bullshit happened in this game. A lot of missed calls, a lot of reviews, a lot of technical fouls, and we had an overtime. And we also had what felt like a million lead changes in this game. In the end, however, Scottie Barnes has an incredible first half, a very shaky third quarter, and a wonderful, wonderful fourth quarter and overtime. Basically, it's all you could ask for. The Toronto Raptors were down Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl. The Sixers playing a lot better, half a game, I think, behind the Toronto Raptors right now. They were down Joel Embiid and Paul George. And to those who haven't been watching, Paul George has had a bit of a resurgence as a really good defender. Would have helped against Scottie Barnes. Dominic Barlow and Kelly Oubre certainly did a commendable job, but Scottie had a mismatch all night. But this game really wasn't even about Scottie Barnes or Emmanuel Quickly, which is probably who it should have been about, if we're being honest. This game was about the other guys. And so much of that could be lost on somebody who was just watching and saying, like, oh, Scottie Barnes, he's doing awesome stuff. He has a massive dunk. He has big plays. Yes, he did. And you needed every bit of Scottie Barnes and Emmanuel Quickly tonight. But I think the story of the game, once again, is Elijah Martin and Colin Murray-Boyles, two rookies on this team who are playing in the clutch down the stretch. And you felt like every single time they went to the bench, the entire thing fell apart. And that's saying a lot because rookies are not supposed to help you win. But the Toronto Raptors went out of their way over the last couple of draft cycles to draft guys that they believed were ready to compete and ready to contribute. Guys like Jamison Battle, who played a lot tonight. Guys like Jamal Shed, who had, I believe, a career high or a season high off the bench in terms of points. He was awesome. Jakob Poeltl probably could have been awesome. Unfortunately, he exits the game with an injury for a Raptors team that's already down two starting wings. Losing a third starting wing sucks. But that's where Elijah Martin comes in because Elijah Martin got something that you can't really teach, and it is dog. First of all, to any athlete out there, chew gum while you play basketball, soccer, whatever. It helps. Elijah Martin, probably the only guy on this team who consistently chews gum. And man, does it really help him to stay locked in and engaged. He is so interesting because, look, I'll walk it back. I was not a fan of this draft night. I saw an undersized power forward. But right now I'm seeing an undersized power forward, and I'm like, you know what? This is creating a lot of problems for the defense. They don't know what to do with him. Now, he can't shoot. Okay, cool. He's had some progress shooting the ball at the G League level, but he shoots a very flat basketball. And if you're expecting him to turn into Steph Curry, you're crazy. That's not going to happen. He's always going to be a bit of a shooting liability, and so is CMB. But what these guys do is they crash the glass. They are excellent athletes. They are super strong for their position. They are tenacious, and they do not stop. They have that Lou Dort gene of like relentless motor, whatever the hell that is. And they just get things done. You know what I mean? Like they're effective. Like they just get the ball. They get the loose ball. They get the tip. They get everything. That play, the Raptors were dead in the water, just to anyone who didn't watch this game. Like they were dead in the water in regulation. This game should not have ended the way that it did. And I got to be honest, Scottie Barnes, genius play at the end. We will look at it. We will certainly have a very in-depth film analysis today. I do want to say, just because this game did go late, I had planned to do an 11 p.m. members live. I think that's going to have to be pushed. That's going to be pushed on till tomorrow because it's too late. Chewing gum gives you cavities. Not if you chew sugar-free, buddy. Chew some sugar-free gum. Honestly, man, it's just something about chewing gum that just sort of like keeps the brain locked in. I don't know what the hell it is. When I chew gum, I feel better playing basketball. Maybe you should try it and let me know how you feel. But my point is, this game comes down to the other guys. And the other guys, if you think about this roster, you're like, the other guys probably should be Grady. That's a third-year guy in a lottery. Yeah, he was a lottery pick. He's a third-year guy. This is his big moment without Brandon Ingram, without RJ Barrett. Grady Dick should be the guy who's coming off the bench or even starting for you and scoring 20 and being a lights out shooter and proving his value to the whole world. You look at a guy like, I don't know, Ochai Baji. That's another guy who should probably be, he's in his fourth year now. He's in a contract year. He's also next lottery pick. Those are two guys that you have maybe thought would be giving you starting level value. They're guys who started for you last year. It's not those guys who really came in and changed this game. Again, it was Colin Murray Boyles, who again starts at center, and it was Elijah Martin. I I can't say enough things about Elijah Martin. Again, full disclosure, wasn't a fan of the draft night, but he has really made a believer out of me with his twitchiness, his quickness. One of my frequent criticisms of this team at in the offseason was they didn't have athletes. They didn't really have those insanely twitchy pogo stick athletes. It was a huge reason why I was such a huge advocate for a Dude Zero at the draft. It was a reason why I was even advocating for, maybe trading for Andrew Wiggins or, someone like Jonathan Kuminga. It wasn't because I necessarily believe in Jonathan Kuminga. It's just because I know Jonathan Kuminga is the type of athlete who can cut through butter when it comes to attacking the zone or attacking a mismatch or a slanted floor. RJ Barrett's probably one of the better ones you have, but again, it's not vertical explosion like Elijah Martin. And again, it comes down to Elijah Martin just doing stuff. It's the tip balls, it's that incredible defense on Tyrese Maxey, which forces a miss. And sometimes it's just attacking a pass, which forces a VJ Edgecombe to drop the ball out of bounds. It's these things that, frankly, his athleticism, his length, his strength, his combination of just being so tenacious. And I think one of the things that I really feel deserves maybe a live on its own is his screen setting. He sets some of the best screens on this team, and he is a solid 6'2". Having a guard screener, especially if he can one day shoot the basketball at a competent level, holy crap, that would be amazing. Someone saying he got MVP chance. Wow. Yes, he did. That absolutely did happen. Scottie Barnes had one of those games. He deserves those MVP chance, says Tyler. I don't know if he deserves MVP chance. I'm gonna be honest. I had a lot of issues with Pascal Siakam and Chris Bosh getting MVP chance. I'm certainly not going to be sitting here advocating for Scottie Barnes getting MVP chance. But yo, did anyone see Scottie Barnes sit in the chair and get down on Tyrese Maxey with the game on the line and stop him from scoring? That's not easy. Can you show clips of those chants? I don't think I have audio on those clips. Oh. Recruiter Dude said the thumbnail on Run It Back Philly podcast is how the f did they lose that? Well, I mean, dear Run It Back Philly, the Toronto Raptors have the best player. That helps, right? The Toronto Raptors, look, I was pretty loud and maybe a little bit rude when I said that I felt against the Boston Celtics that the Boston Celtics had the three best players on the court. And that's probably speaking to how not so highly I think of RJ Barrett in terms of league wide, recognition, and the fact that I think that Peyton Pritchard and Jalen Brown and those guys are better than him. But I do not have those issues with Scottie Barnes. Tonight I walk in and I said, okay, the Raptors have a ragtag group off the bench. Yes, they are starting a rookie, and yes, they will rely heavily on another rookie in Elijah Martin, but they do have the best player on the court, and they are at home. And I think that this game was pretty much dead even in terms of like the odds coming into this game. But man, uh, s- uh, Shannon somewhere punching the air right now. I mean, you can punch air all you want. Uh, but yeah, like, I mean, look, let's just be real here, man. Scottie Barnes is a hell of a player. Okay. He's a hell of a player. And he and CMB and Elijah Martin on the court together is frankly the type of athleticism, strength, size, length, tenacity that you need. And when you put these guys together on the court together, you really can start attacking teams and making them very uncomfortable. And the Raptors defense over the last few games, especially as Colin Murray Boyles takes this ascent that he has been on, has been breathtaking to watch. Every single play, I feel like recording it and like dissecting what they're doing. Like the scram switching, the pre-switching, Like everything that they're doing in this scheme is designed to make ball handlers uncomfortable to force turnovers. The Toronto Raptors had, a tale of, four and a half different quarters. In the first half, I think they were the more tenacious team. They looked more aggressive. They took a big lead into the half, and you thought easy sailing. Third quarter starts. Obviously, Kelly Oubre gets going. The Raptors turn it over. It was a Scottie Barnes turnover, multiple Scottie Barnes turnovers late that were troubling for sure. But in this game, really, that third quarter feels like maybe not the norm because it was a 36-18 in the third quarter. The Sixers took over in that third quarter. And you were like, okay, I guess the Raptors burned themselves out in the first half. Maybe you don't want to extend yourself too much. You are in a home and home back to back. These are rare. I don't recall the last time I've seen a home and home back to back, but it was a kind of crazy game. You think about it, there is a player on this team who looked like he was pretty much healthy the entire game, Trenton Watford, who got in for 2 minutes. Did he have a triple double earlier this season against the Raptors? Nick Nurse is such a weird coach. I mean, Jabari Walker didn't give you very much. I mean, he went 0 for 4 from 3. Shout out to Samaki Walker's son. I didn't love Nick Nurse's rotations, but you know what? I'm very happy to say Nick Nurse ain't my coach anymore. And Nick Nurse left this game feeling so salty because of what Scottie Barnes did. And Scottie Barnes is such a fucking troll, man. Scottie is such a troll. His comments after the game had me laughing. He's like, I looked back to the bench and asked him, do y'all want it? I didn't get a confirmation. So I said, screw it. I'm going to do it. Scottie is funny as hell. And like Scottie and Nick Nurse, it's a very complicated relationship. I'm sure there's a lot of mutual admiration and respect there, but clearly not a lot of there's no love lost, is what I'll say. Tyrese Maxey ends up with 38 points, which is weird to say that he had not a great game, shooting 13 for 27. I think the Raptors did a really good job of limiting some of his touches because honestly, with the lineup they had and the way their lineup was performing, VJ Edgecombe really cold despite that late incredible 3 by VJ Edgecombe over Elijah Martin. They really didn't have a lot going offensively off the bench. They did get 13 points from Quentin Grimes, but you have not a lot there, right? So you expect this would be the game that maybe Tyrese Maxey goes off for 45, 50 points because this is a guy who averages over 30, right? 38 is no big deal when you factor in overtime and all the guys that are out. He's not splitting touches with Embiid. Like, this is a game where it's just like you have the ultimate green light. And I think the Raptors stopped him from getting involved many times. Again, 45 minutes, 38 points. That tracks. From the Raptors side, you get 20 first half points from Scottie Barnes and ends the game with 12 free throw attempts. Love it. 31 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, no steals, no blocks tonight, and a plus 15. And you love to see that plus 15. Off the bench, you get a lot of really, really, really poor performances, and that's why Elijah Martin sticks out so much. Sandro Mamukelashvili was an absolute zilch today. Defensively, offensively, the team looked really bad with him. You haven't heard me slander or talk poorly about Sandro once this entire year, and I'm not going to start tonight. People are entitled to have bad games. He had a bad game. He just could not deal with the length. They have a lot of size coming off their bench. They have a lot of size across the board, period. Andre Drummond is a mega huge guy. Adem Bona, he throws a lot of weight around you. So, this is one of those games where you see a guy like, Sandro Mamukelashvili struggling. You're like, uh-oh, we're in big trouble here. Because with all the guys that you have out, you need like 15 points to 20 points from him. You get 0 from him. You also compound the issue. You have to start Ochai Agbaji in the second half because you lose Jakob Poeltl, who leaves the game after 5 minutes. Not sure what the exact diagnosis was, but he walked away holding the right side. It was like a rib or something. Grady Dick. Oh, 11 minutes off the bench. He was so particularly awful. It was bad to see. I mean, every shot looked like it was bad. I mean, there's a lot of effort there, but there's not a lot of confidence. There's not a lot of confidence, and there's no confidence going from him towards the basket or taking a shot. There's not a lot of confidence from Darko to extend the runs and to see it go any further than it already has. He's just bleeding minutes out there, and he looked so bad. He looked so bad that you almost forgive Darko for searching for anything, everything, and he goes to AJ Lawson. And AJ Lawson also provided very little for the Raptors. I mean, he got bumped a few times, maybe he didn't get a favorable whistle, was certainly a little bit better defensively than Grady Dick, but man, oh man, he can't really shoot, and it seems like teams know it. So it's kind of like slim pickings, man. Garrett Temple doesn't get into the game. Jonathan Mobo does not get into the game. Your shooting is compromised. You're looking for answers anywhere. And the one guy who delivers, to some extent, at least from the spacing perspective, is Jameson Battle. He ends up playing 15 minutes off the bench. And then, of course, Elijah Martin. And we're going to take a lot of look at Elijah Martin in the film session because I thought he was very special tonight. Another guy who was very special tonight was Jamal Shed, made multiple big plays down the stretch, including the pass to CMB in overtime, not to mention the pass received from CMB to make the shot, which is like with overtime hanging in the balance. I'm not really sure why CMB didn't take that shot. Passing it to an undersized, basically 5'11 guy underneath the basket for what easily could have been a blocked shot is nuts, man. Uh Breezy with the cap locks. Stop spoiling results for people who haven't watched in title, says Breezy. Hold on. Let me try to read this out. Let me try to read this out properly. I'm a moron. Okay, did I just translate that for you? This is a post-game live. Okay? So we're going to do that. I don't understand who doesn't do that, but you need to stop. You're not the first person to say this, but here's my solution for you, Snowflake. Stay the fuck off YouTube. How's that? Sheesh. The day I start emailing you results, then we can talk. Chill. Okay? And definitely don't cap locks me, bro. Like, don't cap lock me. Like, cap locks are just, they are truly like when someone caps locks their entire message, it's basically like, I am not a person who is fit for society. You know, like you need white room. You need a white room with white walls and maybe like a babbling brook in the corner. That's what you need right now. Sheesh. Okay. Continuing on, I think Jamal Shed was awesome tonight. Like just the gamesmanship. He was clearly the point guard on this team. Emmanuel Quickly, another inefficient night, very inefficient across the board, 6 for 22. Hits a huge three, but then it gets taken away and it's a two in the corner. It's tough, man. It's tough. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this for Emmanuel Quickly, but I don't feel great about it. I'll put it that way. But kudos to him. Uh, wait till a movie you want to watch comes out. I'm gonna email you how it ends. I don't care. Do you think I open emails from psychopaths? Okay, you just get banned and deleted. You have been banned. I hope you get the help that you need. Anyways, also like what that would be such a helpful service. Thank you very much. If you're still listening, please do summarize movies for me, but only ever do it in all caps. Please only ever do it in all caps. I want all caps recaps to movies. Boy meets girl, girl's father does not approve, boy gets new job. Like that's how I think your movie recaps would go. But please let me know how the fucking movie ends, man. All right. Sheesh. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's get to the film session. But before we do that, let's take a real quick look at the team stats. The Raptors shoot 40% from the field, and they shoot 16% from three, and they win a game. That does not happen in the NBA, my friends. That does not happen unless you get 18 offensive rebounds. Yeah. Yeah, then it might happen. You get 14 steals. Okay, then it might happen. You force 22 turnovers. Okay, then I guess then it might happen. And you get 68 paint points. I guess then maybe it happens. And then you also win the free throw margin with the referees clearly against you. Clearly against you. Natalie Sago calls a fucking technical on Scottie Barnes. because he's complaining that he was slapped in the face by Tyrese Maxey. Okay. In overtime. In overtime, man. Natalie Sago, come on. Sheesh. Scottie Barnes, what would have been a game winner gets taken away on a travel. Come on, man. A lot of weird stuff there, man. So, anyways, but the Raptors win a lot of the marginal differences. Like they obviously like the Sixers do not typically shoot 26% from three. They have a lot of very, very good shooters. He mocked her right to her face. Well, and respectfully, she deserves some mocking. She's a hilariously bad referee. The Raptors end up beating Nick Nurse at his own game. Basically, they win the possession battle handily. Okay, both teams made 41 field goals, but you know what? The Raptors, they took 103, and they took more free throws. What does that tell you? They took more field goals by 13, and they took more free throws by 8. That tells you they won all the hustle plays, all the tip balls, all the loose balls, all the everything. The Raptors just simply outworked the Sixers. I don't know how they're going to have energy tomorrow, but good luck. Good luck to the Raptors. Okay, let's remove this and let us get to the film session. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Uh-oh. Here we go. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-O. Hold on. Have I been logged out? Give me one sec. What did I get logged out for, man? Give me one sec. I gotta log back in. What the hell? What did I get logged out of X for? Technical difficulties. Hang on, man. Zigsaw Puzzle saying Chrome does that a lot. I've never had it happen to me before, so give me 1 second here. I apologize, guys. And of course, my login is not very easily available. Okay, wait. No. I got it. I got it. I'm logged in. Cool. Okay. Phew. Here we go. Okay. Alrighty. My apologies, guys. A little bit of technical difficulties there. Okay. We start out with some beautiful defense by Colin Murray Boyles making this possible. Look, man, the rim protection for a guy who is basically 6'6" and a rookie is really impressive here. What I'm most impressed by, quite frankly, Terrence Davis saying Yak retired. What? Don't joke about that, man. Don't joke about that. Jakob Poeltl didn't retire. Come on. Okay. Ripping the ball away from from Kelly Oubre. That's impressive. The hand-eye coordination is impressive. You know what is super impressive? This pass right away. And then the second pass here, love it from Emmanuel Quickly, and that gets Scottie Barnes going early. And you do want to get Scottie Barnes going early. Okay. Once again, Colin Murray Boyles. Look how quickly he's able to process the entire court. This is something that I really do not like about Emmanuel Quickly, is that he does not process the court. He does not see the help. He often is just caught off guard by where players have moved. Colin Murray Boyles scans the entire court so quickly here. And look at the feel. Look at this pass ahead to Jakob Poeltl, which ultimately is how he gets injured. That right side on, and you can see he holds his right side immediately right after. I wonder if that is a rib contusion or something. Speaking of Jakob Poeltl, falling out of bounds here is able to find Scottie Barnes cutting to the basket. Again, something that RJ Barrett brings to this team that very few other players bring to this team is cutting, like cutting to the basket with intention and force and with some conviction. I said Elijah Martin, all heart. Again, Elijah Martin, first guy off the bench. That is, if that's not confidence, I don't know what is. Imagine you're Elijah Martin. You just won a national championship with Florida. You come into the NBA, you get drafted in the second round, 39th overall. You go to the Toronto Raptors, you sign a two-way contract. That's all they were willing to offer because they didn't want to sign anyone to a guaranteed deal. You end up as the fourth point guard and fifth shooting guard on the depth chart. And you're told that you're going to go to the G League. So what do? You go to the G League and you basically lead the team in a lot of statistical categories and arguably are the second or first best player on that team that starts out 16-0, makes history. Same guy coming off a national championship, by the way. All this guy does is win. It's like all he does is win. It's really insane. These small plays. Look at this. Here, downhill, just putting it up. Nope, doesn't work. Not the most talented guy. 24 years old, not the greatest touch, not a great shooter, not a great passer, just a fucking hooper, man. He's just a hooper. He does everything. He's like Josh Hart. He is like Josh Hart, you know? He's like Gary Payton III, or Gary Payton II, sorry. Those types of guys, they are like the ultimate connectors. He is really proving to be a very interesting pickup for me. Now, I'm certainly not going to tell you that I'm happier picking him than Maxime Reynaud because Maxime Reynaud has been awesome. No, but I get the vision. This is not a Malachi Flynn where I'm just like, I don't know if this guy's going to be in the league 4 years. No, this guy has a chance to carve out a 5, 8, 10, 12-year career. He has a lot of the intangible qualities that, quite frankly, endeared me to PJ Tucker, right? He'll have to work on the shot, but you know what? He has proven immediately that he has the tenacity. Look at this. How many? He's the smallest guy in there. Emmanuel Quickley is technically taller than him. Adem Bona, Barlow, and who comes through? It's just pursuit. How could you not love this guy? I don't care how I feel about the pick. I just love the player. Is that okay? Is it okay to just love what a player is doing and still accept that you would have preferred the super sniper, 7-footer who fills a need for your roster? Is that okay? Like it's a conflicted feeling. Like I watched the guy play and I'm like, this guy is an awesome freaking basketball player. You know what I mean? He does everything to help you win. But I also watch him play and I realize he's a 6'2" power forward. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the PJ Tucker thing. It's complicated. I have complicated feelings about Elijah Martin, but a lot of those complicated feelings are this guy is freaking awesome. And every single time he goes to the bench, I feel like you need to get Elijah Martin back in there. And I really don't feel that way about a lot of players. You know what I mean? Like on this team, there's really nobody on this team that I feel like, oh, you need to get that guy back in. Elijah Martin, Scottie Barnes, sometimes, CMB, sometimes, whoever the hell Grady's replacing most nights, sometimes RJ, never Quickly. Jamal Shad. You know what I mean? Like these guys, these positive momentum builders. Okay, once again, Scottie Barnes ran a ton of creation initiation possessions. And here he does the right thing, attacking Jared McCain, a notoriously terrible defender. And here takes it all the way through against Andre Drummond. They are not a great defense. I said Scottie Barnes masterclass is underway. Take notes. I am in a couple of days. Hold on. Can I give a little announcement to our 550 people watching here? Let me just do this real quick. So I've been wanting to interview Scottie's trainer again because we've done 2 interviews, and I wanted to get Brian back on the show because we've talked a lot when Scottie's had struggling seasons, when he's come out of it. but we've never had a conversation when Scotty is rolling like this. So I was like, you know what, Brian? I think I really want to talk, about what Scotty's doing. So we have agreed to set that up over the next week. So that video will come out this month. I am very excited for that one because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about the new chapter that Brian has undertaken with Florida Hoops, and he started the Gem. It's a wonderful training facility. They're doing a lot of great work there. We're going to talk about Scottie Barnes. We're going to talk about, the type of player that Brian still expects him to be. We're going to expand a lot on, the off season that he just had. So we're going to have a great conversation. It's probably going to be one hour or so, but yeah, Pendants is very quickly rolling up. So the editing will be a little bit slow on that one, but at some point, for sure. And there will be early access for members. You'll definitely get like an uncut version, like probably the day of. It'll be a members live uncut, and then it'll come out edited with all the clips added as a fully public video. So third time's a charm, they say. The first two interviews have been awesome, so I can't even wait for the third one. So that's going to be really cool. And games like this and possessions like this really make you wonder, the people who said that Scotty needs a new trainer, will they ever apologize? Will they ever eat crow? Will they ever shut the fuck up? Look at this play. I mean, this is a, I mean, according to some people, this is a center. Okay. So look at this. Put the player on your hip, hang dribble, boom, crossover, turn. Beautiful. I mean, squint your eyes. That's not Kawhi Leonard. Sheesh. Right. But it doesn't stop there with Scottie Barnes, man. There's always the Draymond stuff, the connective passing. And here he finds Colin Murray Boyles for a wide open dunk. And here, taking a little note out of the Colin Murray Boyles transition handbook. Here, left hand pass perfectly leads Emmanuel Quickly into the easiest shot of his night. And he needed it because you take this shot away and he shot 5 for 21. So he needs some easy ones, man. Emmanuel Quickly takes some really hard shots and for no reason whatsoever. Okay, let me just mute this here for a sec. Colin Murray Boyles had a very interesting sequence here where he loses his shoe. And I just want to show you why this rookie has, I have just started to love Colin Murray Boyles as much as I have. Again, I've always really had a great affinity for Colin Murray Boyles as a prospect, but he's really grown on me because of his consistency and plays like this, frankly. Here, you see Adem Bona step on his foot, okay? That results in CMB losing his shoe. Does he stop playing? No. He continues to play. And he continues to play to the point where he even ends up taking a shot without his shoe. Rarely see that. And here, he's going to come back. He remembers to pick up his shoe, right? So he's going to pick up his shoe right here. And I thought to myself, is he going to try to block a shot with his shoe? Like, I could see him doing that, but like, is he going to do it? And here, he tries to get a steal with the other hand that's available. And here you can see him. He doesn't want to take the 3 seconds it would take to put the shoe back on, lest it lead to a defensive, breakdown. So he's like, yeah, I'll just play without a shoe. This is so cool, man. He is such a funky Raptor. Speaking of funky Raptors that definitely deserve your attention, here's Elijah Martin and Jamal Shed, two of my favorite Raptors, doing something awesome here. Look at the peskiness. First of all, look at those arms. It's not a normal, ratio of height to length. Those might be some of the longest arms in the NBA on a 6'1" player. And Elijah Martin uses them very well. Look at how he's able to poke this dribble. Like, I think I need to slow this down. Like, the very fact that, Tyrese Maxey is a very good ball handler. But look at this. Just poking it away. And here, recovering in time, you have no way that you are supposed to get this basketball. But somehow, again, that length, and Tyrese Maxey has very long arms too. And pursuit, he gets it, loses it because he doesn't have the greatest handle, protects the basketball, doesn't shy from contact, which is something that I really have come to appreciate about him, gets fouled. Okay, let's just be clear about that. Gets clearly fouled, no call. And there you go, your 6-foot point guard coming up and dunking the ball. Man, I love Jamal Shad. I'm really starting to love Elijah Martin. I said Elijah Martin is earning every second of playing time, and I mean it. Look at this defense here on Tyrese Maxey. You'll have to appreciate that in a game where Scottie Barnes has 31 points. I am not spending the entire live talking about how great Scottie is. That's not the point. We have to talk about the other guys because the other guys are really the reason you won tonight. It's not just the Scottie Barnes show or the Emmanuel Quickly show. I don't like when fans only focus on the stars. Like, you got to focus on this guy because what this takes is heart. This is heart and this is hard. It's heart and it's hard. Staying with Tyrese Maxey, forcing him into that really difficult shot. I gotta tell you, a lot of Tyrese Maxey show, Garrett Andrade, Pen, please say I didn't hear you say Elijah Martin is one of your favorite raps. I can go back many pods you bashing him. Stop, please. Okay, you need to shut the fuck up, first of all. I have acknowledged many times that I was not a fan of the pick. I've even acknowledged in this live, it's not bashing. I can acknowledge that he is growing into one of my favorite Raptors. Also, like, what's wrong with people changing their opinion when a guy actually plays games? He's only played 2 games for the Raptors. He's played 2 games, and I've been complimentary both those games. People are weird, man. People so weird. It's not switching up. It's not even switching up. It's literally acknowledging what you're seeing in front of your eyes. If somebody has a reputation that they can't shoot or they're unwilling shooters and they show you that they're a willing shooter, do you continue to bash them for being an unwilling shooter? Hell no. You shouldn't. Ugh. Generation is lost. Okay. Anyways, point being, I think this defense was awesome. But you know what? Elijah Martin sucks, man. He sucks. He's terrible. Horrible basketball player. Tyrese Maxey is nobody. He's a bum. Okay. Speaking of bad decisions, this is a bad decision by Scottie Barnes. Why would you slow down when Jared McCain is the last line of defense? Like, on what planet are you on right now that this is the right play? My God, man. Like, stop doing this, Scottie. He does this with Emmanuel Quickly. He'll often do this with Grady Dick. Like, stop it, man. Like, you are a smarter basketball player than this. You got to attack. And frankly, this entire game, Scottie got to the line 12 times because he attacked. But now you see Jared McCain and you slow down. This is dumb as hell. Anyways, all's well that ends well. This play ends up with Emmanuel Quickly missing. And then Scottie Barnes, this time correctly, chooses to attack. The Sixers throw a double team at him. Scottie, obviously, a supercomputer here. And he is able to find Emmanuel Quickly for another really easy shot. Yeah, man. It's just, look, be the change you want to see. I want people to be able to change their mind. If you were against the Brandon Ingram pick or pickup, I hope that seeing him play has changed your mind. If you were initially of the mindset that RJ Barrett is a terrible defender, hopefully his increased effort on that end can make you think that differently. If you are one of those people that believes that Emmanuel Quickly is a terrible point guard and you see his accommodation or adaptation more off the ball, then hopefully you can give him credit for that. I believe that people can change. You know what I mean? I believe people can change, and when people change, you should give them credit. Right? There's a lot of people that hold things that I said 5 years ago against me as if like I'm supposed to live in a tomb of my past mistakes. I think people can change. I change every day. I hope you change every day too. And when information changes, you should change your opinion. I genuinely believe that. I think I have changed my mind about 1,000 things in basketball over the last month. I don't think that makes me flaky. I think that's just the right thing to do. I said Colin Murray Boyles is everywhere. Oh, just by the way, Colin Murray Boyles was not my pick. I have grown to absolutely adore this guy, and I cannot imagine a world in which we would ever trade him. So, look, like, I love Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant is my guy. Like, he's my I would be happy. If we had Carter Bryant on this team, I'd be happy. But I'm always reminded, if we have Carter Bryant, that means we don't have Colin Murray Boyles, and I have no idea where this team would be without CMB. So, it's complicated, man. We're talking about, like, players, right? So, here, again, Colin Murray Boyles, sorry, this is, Scottie Barnes making this pass to Jamison Battle, doesn't go in, but look at CMB attacking the rim once again. Just so tenacious. How he is able to constantly, and again, Colin Murray Boyles, I say Colin Murray Boyles is a future DPOY candidate. And that's saying a lot, man, but he is physically changing the entire concept of defense for the Raptors. And dare I say he's a better defender than Jakob Poeltl? I think he's a better defender than Jakob Poeltl. Like, in terms of positional versatility, yes. In terms of size, defense, maybe, like, rebounding, screen setting, communication, know-how, knowledge, maybe not. But in terms of the things that the Raptors are able to do with him on the court playing the five, it's actually special. And I really don't know if his future position is five, but look at the ability to just take this away. This is a guaranteed 2 points, and you just take it away. And if he doesn't pursue that, and let's just be honest, Ochai, Grady, RJ are probably not going to get there. In that exact situation, they're not going to get there. Sandro might not get there, but you have a guy here who is a rookie who is going to get there, and he's going to do that consistently. He does that 3 times a game. He does that 3 to 4 times a game. It is really interesting. Penn, I commented about Will Lou taking shots at you about quickly. What's your take? Martin has Desmond Bain vibes to me, hopefully. Desmond Bain has a much better prognosis as a shooter than Elijah Martin, but I hope Elijah Martin can get there. Also, they're very different players. I mean, for starters, Elijah Martin has a 6'9" wingspan, and I think Desmond Bain has a negative wingspan. So I think that's maybe just a very strange comp. I definitely liken him a little bit more to a Josh Hart. He's just so much more of an athlete. I said, like, Elijah Martin almost ended Quentin Grimes' life. Look at the explosion on this dunk. And again, this is one play before the Scottie Barnes play. And do you believe energy is contagious? Because I certainly do. I believe all energy is contagious. I believe when you are around positive people, that they make you positive. And I cannot shake the fact that Elijah Martin has a very positive impact on his teammates, because the second he did this, guess what happened on the next play? We're gonna play some sound on this one. Listen to this and watch this, because this is the next play after that. So that's Elijah Martin trying to go up and trying to bury Quentin Grimes. And here's a moment in time. Scottie Barnes last year probably takes this shot, right? But having seen Elijah Martin, Scottie's like, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. That's great. Yeah. I mean, watch that again. That's special. The ability to take contact and finish over 2 defenders, 3 defenders, whatever. That's special. That's special. He finished over the whole damn team. Okay. Here I said Scottie Barnes, side eyes. 1 minute and 39 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Philly up 100-99. Here comes Scottie Barnes, isolating on Kelly Oubre. Where's that Dominic Barlow? Sorry, I apologize. It's Dominic Barlow. Good defender, by the way. Spin, push through, finish at the rim. The self-creation for Scottie is the next step. But when he figures this out, those MVP chants will be so valid. So valid. Because when he figures this out, No one will be able to stop it. And this is the next play down. And again, back-to-back possessions where Scottie Barnes is doing exactly what people said he cannot do. Here, Kelly Oubre, screen, probably hit the roller here on most occasions. But right now, Scottie is like, you know what? I'm not passing. I'm taking this because I've got a Dembona on me and I can beat this guy off the dribble. Again, I'm not passing. Now, slow this down and I'll show you exactly what the referees called because the two referees, the sideline referee, Natalie Sago, that you can see on the top right, she called this a foul. So an and one, basically, which would have given the Raptors a 1 point lead with Scottie going to the line. Unfortunately, the referee on the baseline ended up calling this a travel. So this is where they called the travel here. So Scottie plants, puts, and boom. That slide on the right foot is what they call. Natalie Sago calls that as a foul. Unfortunately, we have Rodney Mott call this a travel. Now, I want to be clear. Moving your pivot foot, sliding it slightly like that happens so many times in an NBA game. I know by the letter of the law that is a travel. Nevertheless, I am impressed by the fact that he did it, the fact that it looked as connected and cohesive as it did. Scottie struggles very often with these combination moves, like one move, counter, step back, like the things that come very naturally to Brandon Ingram. And I'm seeing a lot of Ingram rubbing off on Scottie. And it's going to be a really, really it's curtains for the Eastern Conference if Scottie figures this shit out, man. It's scary. Now look, 13 seconds to go. The Raptors are down 4. The odds are you lose this game 199.9 times out of 100. This is a 2-possession game with 13 seconds. You should not win this game. And once Emmanuel quickly takes this three that is converted to a 2 because his foot is on the line, you definitely can't win this game. Because now they have 13 seconds or 11.4 seconds, 11.3 seconds. So how do you win this game? You win this game because Elijah Martin is a dog. Watch this. Without fouling, no foul, no foul, no foul, no foul. Tips it away, pursues the ball. Now, a little bit of gamesmanship here. Scottie Barnes walked up to every single referee before that play was inbounded and said, "We are not fouling." He went up to every single referee so that they wouldn't call an intentional foul on the aggressive pursuit. That happens a lot in games where sometimes you're trying to be tenacious on the ball and the refs think that you're trying to foul, but you're not trying to foul. He went up to every single ref individually and said, "We are not fouling." That is Scottie Barnes' gamesmanship badge number 1, if you want to borrow a 2K term. That was actually pretty impressive. That's something that Jokic does a lot. That's something that I would expect someone like Luka to do. Again, that shows that you're thinking the game, that you have a presence about you. Now, this is something that shows you don't have a presence about you. And this is the final play that is drawn up in regulation. 107-105. The Toronto Raptors end up winning the challenge. The ball is, in fact, off of VJ Edgecombe, Elijah Martin, hero. What do you do with the heroic effort? You get it to Emmanuel quickly, and we call 5. Well, I called 5, and no one was home. This is a stupid shot. I don't care if he hits the shot. This is not his game. This is the type of shot that I absolutely never, ever, ever, ever in a million years want Emmanuel quickly taking. Why did he take it? I don't know. But I got to tell you, Emmanuel quickly off the catch, great. Emmanuel quickly coming off a curl or a pin down, great. Emmanuel quickly off the ball, awesome. But Emmanuel quickly creating step back, turnaround with a hand in his face, are you crazy? He is lucky this didn't get him benched. This is insane. Truly madness that you even had the nerve to try to take that shot. Crazy. But once again, the ball gets tossed out of bounds. You get the ball, you get another try. Despite Emmanuel quickly trying to sell this game, you do get another try. Now, the only thing I'm thinking here is Darko Rajakovic, if you draw this play up for Emmanuel quickly again, I am literally going to start a change.org petition to have you fired because that would be criminal. Okay, do this shit with Emmanuel. Do the shit with Brandon Ingram. I don't want to start doing the shit with Emmanuel quickly as well. Here, the play is for Emmanuel quickly, believe it or not. But thank the heavens that Quentin Grimes has long arms and he is able to take this pass away. And so Scottie has to go to the second option, which is Colin Murray Boyles. CMB is going to drive. Adembona overreacts. And look at Elijah Martin just getting in the way for that split second, putting a body in the way, clearing up Jamal Shed for a wide open layup. Call overtime, baby. Here, big offensive rebound here. Another clank from Elijah Martin, who just not a great shooter at this point, but I have some faith that over some period of time, maybe he'll work himself up to a 35% three-point shooter. Here, the Sixers need to send help much sooner than this. Kelly Oubre just very lazy. And again, this is the value of Emmanuel quickly. You're not as easily able to help down on the post player because Emmanuel quickly is there and Scottie is a willing passer. But once again, Scottie gets to the line, forces the issue. That's 4 minutes to go in the third. Scottie Barnes picks up the technical foul. All hope seems lost. Philly is up. You can't stop Maxey in overtime. He's getting everything he wants. You can't put anyone on him. He's doing his damage. And Scottie Barnes says, I will take the challenge. Yes, the guy who has been tasked to guard Joel Embiid in the last matchup, the guy who has been tasked to guard Nikola Jokic, the guy who has been tasked to guard Giannis, Paolo. I will take the challenge of guarding Tyrese Maxey because I am the franchise player. This is impressive. So you want to talk about gamesmanship. This is gamesmanship number 2 from Scottie Barnes. This is all in the clutch. This is where I say, this is showing me that you are growing up as a leader, okay? You give enough space. You do not foul. Yes, you are emotionally charged because you picked up a technical foul because the guy slapped you in the face. And this is your friend. This is your boy. But you're not going to start playing with your hands. Look, Scottie is moving his feet. He's tenaciously shadowing one of the fastest players, if not the fastest player in the NBA, not named De'Aaron Fox. I mean, honestly, Fox and Maxey, it's close between those two. But this is not Maxey's game either. And here, Elijah Martin gives just enough help, and boom goes the dynamite because Scottie Barnes falls on it, and he is able to pursue, and we get a jump ball. And that is a huge play. So there's some gamesmanship there. And once again, you have Elijah Martin involved. Now, possibly a low light for Elijah Martin here. The Raptors are up 3. Okay. We got 20 seconds to go. And it feels like all hope is once again lost the second VJ Edgecombe hits this because it's like, oh, we're going to go to double overtime. The Raptors are going to run out of steam. They're already undermanned. All of my, Raptors trauma started to come up. And then I was like, you know what? Scottie got the ball. And this was very interesting because the Raptors drew up a play for Scottie Barnes with 13 seconds to go. The Sixers foul. And then they inbounded again. And they said, you know what? We're putting the ball in Scottie's hands again. And shout outs to Molly, to those of you who are on Raptors Twitter spaces and stuff, you will know Molly. She's been calling for more Scottie end of game possessions all year. And you know what? I'm with you. Put the ball in your best player's hands and let him make the decision. And here he makes a great decision. He doesn't settle for some stupid jumper. He doesn't go early. Not the most dynamic handle. And again, James Harden got continuation. LeBron got continuation. Scottie gets jack shit. No continuation, but they do call the foul. And it's 0.8 seconds to go. And you are about to see why Nick Nurse is super, super, super mad. Uh-oh. Oh no, the play did not upload. Scottie Barnes misses the free throw deliberately. Makes the first free throw, misses the second free throw. I apologize, that play did not upload, or because it was so long, it got clipped out. Scottie Barnes makes the first free throw, looks back to the bench, and then just whips the second one. The Sixers did have a timeout. So if Scottie makes the free throw, it would be a 2-point game, 117, 115, with a chance for the Sixers to potentially tie the game or even take the lead. The Raptors were literally in this situation against Charlotte a couple of days ago, and they hit a three. So here, Scottie decides with zero point 0.8 seconds on the clock, if I miss the shot in the right direction, by the time the ball comes off the rim and somebody gets it, time will run out. He goes early on the free throw. That's a huge part of it too, right? Here's the thing. When the referee gives the player the basketball, right? There's an element of rhythm that players have, like expectations. This guy dribble, 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 looks at the basketball. There's certain players that have a longer routine. Giannis Antetokounmpo sometimes takes 10 seconds. Scottie had been to the line 11 times prior to missing that final one. So they had already established there was a certain amount of, time that he takes to take his free throw. And so what happened was Scottie decided he looked back at the bench after making his first one. They didn't give him anything. They didn't give him the all clear. And what he did was actually quite brilliant. And unfortunately, he did it so fast that the cameras didn't even catch it. He received the ball from the referee, and within 1 second, he just whipped it at the rim. And everybody was so pissed off. Everybody was so stunned. Nick Nurse's face, he looked like he was like, the Raptors just cheated. The Raptors just cheated. There's nothing illegal about that at all. The second the ball is in your possession, you can take the free throw. There is a certain amount of time that you have to take the free throw. You have it in 10 seconds per the league rules, but there's absolutely nothing stopping you from taking it within 1 second. You can literally take it as the ball hits your hand. The referee throws it to you. You can literally whip it back at them, and that's a free throw. Scottie just big brained the shit out of the Philadelphia 76ers. This is a stunning end to a game. It will be talked about a lot, I'm sure, on ESPN breakdown. And I hope the panel will talk about it tomorrow. I will not be on the panel tomorrow. I'll be on Tuesday. It makes you feel good, man. It makes you feel good. Scottie sacrificed, what would have been his 30-second point in order to put this game away. And you got to love it. I've always said that one of the things that I appreciate about Scottie Barnes is that all he cares about is winning. There's nothing statistical about his dominance. He's never going to pursue his 20th point of the game or 30th point of the game or 10th rebound to complete a triple double. It's never going to happen. I'll bet dollars to donuts that at the end of his career, he'll probably lead the league in near triple doubles, on his career. He'll probably have like 150 games by the end of his career that are like 30 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, where he could have just gotten one more and he just doesn't care to. There's so many guys in this league who stat pad and they play for stats, they play for numbers. There's so many guys who play for money. And I watched a version of this Toronto Raptors team play like that, and it really pissed me off. And I think sometimes, I don't want to say God, but maybe God puts you through some stuff, as a fan. They, the basketball gods put you through some bullshit basketball so you can appreciate this beautiful basketball that you're playing now. Sandro Mamukelashvili doesn't play for stats. Jamal Shed doesn't play for stats. I don't think Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett play for stats. I don't think anyone on this team plays for stats because I don't think that this team culture allows it. I don't think Grady plays for stats. And I certainly don't think CMB and Elijah Martin play for stats. It's just such a beautiful team to cover. It's such an awesome team to watch. You could be having like not a great day and you can watch this team and you can feel better. Like, I know that sounds kind of lame, but it's true. And I got to tell you, there's been a lot of periods in Raptors history where that just wasn't the case. That just wasn't the case. You could be having a shit day and you'd be watching the Raptors, and 5 minutes later, you want to watch The Office reruns because the team sucked and the team wasn't playing hard. Win, lose, or draw, this team plays hard almost every single night. This team plays competitive. They may not make their shots, but I mean, like, okay, that happens. You win a game tonight where you shoot below 20% from three. James Walsh said, IQ plays for stats. I simply disagree. I do not think Emmanuel quickly plays for stats at all. No. Felt like Emmanuel quickly had a fiver on FanDuel. Emmanuel quickly goes through what I would call predictable, brain farts and poor plays, right? But it's not for a lack of trying, and it's definitely not selfish. I do not find Emmanuel quickly selfish at all. I'm sorry. Like I have a lot of issues with Emmanuel quickly and RJ Barrett at times, and Jakob Poeltl at times, and Grady Dick at times, and Ochai Agbaji at times. There's a lot of players on this team that I think aren't above criticism. Even Scottie Barnes at times, certainly. There are plenty of plays tonight. His third quarter approach was horrible. A huge part. Even in the fourth quarter, he had multiple turnovers. I think he had a big turnover to start overtime as well. There's nobody's perfect here. But what I'm saying is the objective is to win, and it is very clear that that is the intention that the team is going into every single game with. And I think that you have to appreciate that. You can't knock that, right? Because that's just not the case for most teams. If I'm being honest, I just don't feel most teams play that style of basketball. And it's pretty cool to see. It's actually really cool to see. It's more of a management issue for not addressing. Cool. Let's get to some super chats here. Super chat number one, iTown Forever mentioned this already. Scott always takes the Sixers matchup seriously, said Alexander B, who has been a member for 4 months. Shout outs to Alexander for being a member for 4 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's something about Nick Nurse and Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. There's a lot of personal connections on that other end. Joel Embiid being the guy who, pretty much is the only guy who's ever really beaten Scottie Barnes, or Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are the guys who beat Scottie Barnes in his first ever playoff game, or first ever playoff series. First experience in the playoffs was against this team. And it would be interesting that if the NBA season were to stop today, the Raptors would inevitably actually face the Sixers again in the playoffs right now. So this is definitely a team you're going to have to familiarize yourself with. And it's not like without merit that the Toronto Raptors just picked up their 24th win of the season. 24 wins. January 11th marked the day. 24 wins. We are halfway through the season. We are less than halfway through the season because halfway is exactly 41. Tomorrow will mark game 41. If the Raptors win tomorrow night, they will be on pace for 50 wins. Vegas had predicted 37.5. So you're shattering expectations at this point. And you're quite late into the season. This is not me talking about an 8-2 start. Oh, you caught the team, you caught the league napping. You've had tons of injuries. Now you're dealing with multiple, you're dealing with 3 starters out. Last game, you had 4 starters out to end the game. You've had your issues. You have a roster that is clearly built with the future in mind. You have a lot of negative pieces that don't make a lot of sense. You're undersized every single night. You have to compete. Man, the muscles that are being grown on this team, it's very impressive. Very impressive. KP7 said, feels like CMB will be a Raptors legend one day. He already is, man. He is already a Raptors rookie legend. Per my numbers 2 games ago, I was looking at his offensive rebound rate, which is a calculation of how many offensive rebounds you grab is like a per 100 possession stat based on the available offensive rebounds. And he grabs, I think, 13%, which is just below among Raptors rookies, just Jakob Poeltl. That was it. That was the only Raptors rookie that I could find that was above him. So he was above Chris Bosh, Scottie Barnes, Tracy McGrady. He was above Rafael Arujo, who was a very good rebounder. I believe he was above Jonas Valanciunas. I mean, this is a 6'6" guy, who's 20 years old. It's very, very impressive. So he's been awesome. MKONS, MCons became a new member. Shout outs to you. And sent a super chat, said, "What's with IQ passing on threes plus catch and shoot 3-point chances?" Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I think sometimes Emmanuel quickly has a strange perception of what he's supposed to be doing on the court. And I think part of it has to do with how much time his shot takes to load up. So the defense will often catch up to him before he is able to get into his shooting motion. There's a lot of players out there who have a high release and a quick release. Quickly has a low release and a slow release. So low and slow is hard when you're 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", like quickly. You can get away with low and slow if you're 7 feet tall. Like, there are plenty of 7 footers out there who shoot it low and slow. I just think high and quick is like that's the Steph Curry model, right? High and quick, Steph Curry, Mohamed Abdul-Rauf. You look at some of the greatest jump shooters, greatest movement shooters of all time, they usually shoot high. Some of them shoot very, very high, like Peja Stojakovic, but you don't have to shoot necessarily that high. My point is there needs to be a replicable motion. You need to be able to get it off clean. And part of getting it off clean is you only have a fraction of a second to get it off before the defense recovers. And I think that Grady and Emmanuel quickly both struggle with this to some extent, which is that their release sometimes gets rushed by contests. The length is bothering them. So I would imagine that's at least part of why he's passing on 3-point catch and shoot chances. But it would be very, very good for him to make that a larger part of his game, in my opinion. Baseline hours, a member for 4 months says Ingram, Scotty, CMB feels like a real 2-3, real NBA 2-3-4. Yeah, I think that would be great. If you can get a stretch five and a dynamic paint penetrating one to augment that trio, that would be great. But in terms of like for me, no disrespect to any other players on this team, Jamal Shed, Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett. But to me, these three are the staples. These three are the guys who need to stay. And, I was watching the Ball Don't Lie podcast. Shout outs to Raptors Republic, Louis Satzman, Samson Folk doing some good work over there. And they were talking. I mean, I listened to it very passively, but I was doing some grocery shopping. And I was listening to them talking about RJ Barrett's impact on the offense and Brandon Ingram, and they were comparing the two. And certainly, definitely go watch it and listen for yourself what you think of it. But ultimately, I think one of the biggest reasons that Brandon Ingram gets such difficult shots is because his offense is just not tailor made to him. As much as people think that the Raptors have just drawn everything up for Brandon Ingram, I don't think that's the case. I think everything in this offense is really just tailored to Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett. Like everything bends to them. And I know that sounds crazy, but it does. And it is Scottie Barnes and Brandon Ingram who are often asked to bail out the offense and defense respectively. Like Scottie is bailing out your defense all the time. He's playing small ball center. He's not optimized in any way, right? And Brandon Ingram is often the bailout of your offense. Like, oh, we don't have anything. Let's just throw it to Brandon Ingram, get out of the way, and and you think he wants to do that, and maybe to some extent he does, but that's not effective. That's not going to help his percentages, and that's certainly not going to raise his efficiency. And then when you look at RJ Barrett, it's like everything for him is very tilted. Like the floor becomes very tilted when he's on the court. And you can say that's partially because he's so tenacious and he's so intelligent. And that's true. He is tenacious. He has a high motor. He's incredibly intelligent and very intuitive. But everything in this offense kind of leans towards making his skill set stand out. And, you see a little bit of it tonight when Scotty handles a little bit, a few of those quote unquote RJ possessions that, there are pathways that the cutting and the screening actions and the off ball actions, they do create these little driving angles for guys like RJ Barrett to attack. And so, you know, as happy as you can be about RJ Barrett's performance this year, you always wonder to yourself, what if you had a better version of that player who wasn't such a liability in other areas? He could still benefit from all the things that RJ Barrett does. So when I think about a downhill athlete like, I don't know, Norman Powell, but then you could still have a little bit more three-point shooting with Norman Powell, right? You could have better spacing with Norman Powell. You could probably have a little bit more of that vertical pop and athleticism with Norman Powell. So it's just these are small things, but clearly the Raptors offense is built for players like Norman Powell and maybe RJ Barrett. And I don't think that it's necessarily built for the better players on the team. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Izzy Joe said, "Would you trade CMB for Carter Bryant?" Um, Here's the thing. I I would, but I don't think I'd be happy if the Raptors did. Look, if I had to redraft again, Carter's still like top 6, top 7 on my board, and CMB is pretty much right there as well. I think the below the rim finishing and athleticism, the fact that CMB is, a little bit older and a lot more physically developed, these things make me think that CMB is supposed to be better earlier. And it's but Carter has been one of the worst players in the league. So it's depressingly bad right now for Carter. Like he looks like he might be Cody Williams. But I know I know Carter. Like I know what drives him. I know the work that he puts in. I know um, the people that are poured into him. And I know that this is going to turn around for him. I know that. So I don't know. Like right now, you'd be crazy to say that Carter Bryant ahead of CMB. You'd be crazy, right? But me personally, if I'm doing the draft again, I'm probably still picking Carter Bryant, but it's really close. It's a coin flip at this point. I haven't gotten much lower on Carter. I think I've just gotten a lot higher on CMB. So I think CMB was 8th on my board. He'd probably be 6th on my board today. So that's where I'm at. Who would be the top 5 guys on my board right now? Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper. So initially, I think I had Carter 3rd. I would probably move Con to 3rd, and then I'd move Carter to 4th, maybe. And then I might move Cedric Howard to 5th, CMB to 6th, something like that. Maybe Derek Queen. Maybe Derek Queen would get some consideration. So I would put Carter, CMB, and Derek Queen in the same realm. I understand that Carter has been worse than both of them. Believe me, I watch all his games. I know he's been pretty bad. Not Donald Fagan gifted 5 Pensare Basketball memberships. Appreciate you, man, very very much. Thank you so much. These memberships, uh, starting with YouTube, opening up memberships, channel memberships, the channel membership bonus, and then you guys all agreeing to become members and supporting. Now 5 months 4 or 5 months in has been really, really huge for this channel and huge for me personally. So thank you very much for that. Bill Withers, thank you so much. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear it. This is a dominant performance, franchise cornerstone, superstar. I agree. Elijah Martin is awesome, man. I'm just kidding. I know you're talking about Scottie Barnes, and I appreciate you, man. I don't know how long you've been watching this channel, Bill, but um, I think you're really going to love that interview with Brian. And if you're new to this channel, because I hadn't seen your super chats and your comments until about a couple of weeks ago, so I wonder if you're someone who found us a little bit late. But I will let you know that for the last 5 years, 6 years, there's no one on earth who's been higher on Scottie Barnes than me. So you're definitely in the right place if you want a Scottie positive podcast. Sparkling Harmony, member for 2 months, said, "Can the Raptors contain Embiid tomorrow?" Simple answer: no, they cannot. He puts a lot of pressure on the rim. He's not the same player anymore at all, but he is still going to present a myriad of problems, specifically because he's a 7-foot jump shooter and he just has a lot of size, a lot of weight that he can throw around. I mean, he is a solid 290 pounds to 300 pounds. And as much as I love Scottie and CMB, they can't hold him off the glass. Like they're not gonna be able to do anything. And the fact that he is so much more offensively inclined than a Dembona and Andre Drummond. I think the fact that we split this is good enough for me. If the Raptors decide to win tomorrow, if Brandon Ingram comes back, I have no idea. That'd be great. But it's cherry on top. I have no expectations for tomorrow at all. I'm perfectly fine with splitting this. Uh, Red Salute. What is up, sir?
Yo, how you doing, Pen?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. I got to say one quick thing. I always respect your rules. No plugging. I totally get it. I just wanted to let you know, my latest video is blowing up. It's got 52K views, and life is awesome because I thought we were going to blow tonight's game.
Is it a
And
basketball?
pardon me?
Is it basketball?
No, my content. No, it's not ball. Like, and I don't want to go any further than that because I don't want to, the no plugging rule. I totally get it. I got the same rule myself, so I just wanted to throw that out there just because it's.
Well, what do you do? Now I'm curious.
My content is geared towards the like the story lore of open world video games. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, so right now I'm just pretty much just covering Red Dead 1 and Red Dead 2.
Oh, that's really funny because my girlfriend just got me Red Dead 2 for Christmas.
Oh man, that you're gonna become addicted or get addicted to that game.
Yeah, that's why I'm not playing until Pen Dance is over.
Yeah.
It's the special edition, the PS4 special edition with the map and all that stuff. So I'm
nice.
really excited.
Nice.
Yeah, I was listening to the Lex Friedman podcast where they talked to the guy who wrote the scripts for Red Dead and GTA 4, GTA 5. He was talking about the characters of Arthur and John Marston and all that stuff. So that's really cool, man. Open world video games are very cool. I got to tell you, like my girlfriend and I, we played Red Dead Redemption 1 over the New Year break.
Yep.
And we played it very, very immersed. Like we played it for like 16 hours a day, like crazy people.
I don't even game that long.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like it was
That is nuts.
Yeah, we went in like to a fully immersive experience, and it was we walked out of it slightly changed people. So it was very cool.
Yeah. Well, if you think that's Red Dead 1 is immersive, Red Dead 2, holy crap, it's just endless mystery after endless mystery. And but anyways, I appreciate that. Yeah, because I'll be eventually branching out in other games and stuff too, as I get used to juggling the whole workload. But I just wanted to share that with you for the good vibes. But yeah, moving on to the Raps, I had a really good feeling about Elijah. I know there were some huge negatives that you were dutifully pointing out. He's 24, undersized, so on. But he had the burst. He's got the athleticism. And I remember I pointed out to you a little while back, maybe this was a pick that Darko was really keen on because, Jacoby Walter, Grady Dick, they're not, as you've pointed out before, these aren't, classic or traditional Masai Ujiri kind of draft picks.
Sure.
So I was thinking maybe it's the same thing with Elijah, but regardless, I am so glad this is working out because this is exactly what we need off the bench. His diverse skill set. Like he can handle the ball, he can shoot a little, his athleticism, the explosiveness, the bursts, the twitchiness, the perimeter defense, and just to have another dog out there with Shed, and see him like we've got around Scottie. Like I'm so excited about this. We've got CMB, we got Shed, we got Elijah Martin, we got Jacoby. If we just need that center, you know what I mean? Like, even it's like a backup, because hopefully it'll work out with Yak, and it's not going to lead to a major issue with his back. But it's so exciting to get these pieces, to have them. We've got, of course, we've got the IQ contract, the Yak contract. But it's only like a couple of big negatives. We've got these prospects, and it just feels so good to see it. It seems like it's coming together, and it's just it feels good. And I thought we were going to lose tonight. I actually turned the game off with 30 seconds left. I feel ashamed, but
you should.
Yeah, but I figure though with an up and coming team, there are going to be games that we should win, and we're going to blow them. And it's happened. It'll happen again. But I love how these guys prove me wrong. Like the tenacity of these guys, this character of this team that that Darko's putting together
Mhm.
and building, and it's so exciting. I am so happy right now. We're getting those pieces around Scottie.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think Elijah had a very, very positive impact on his teammates today. I think, like, from the perspective of, I feel like people react very well to him being on the court. I think he gives a lot of energy to them. He also has a certain, like, demeanor about him that's very, not only positive, but very confident. I mean, he's extremely confident. Like, he walks around like a guy who owns the joint. I don't know if it's because he's insanely broad or just like, you know, like CMB, he lifts. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know if that's it, but he might be like the most, he looks like a bodybuilder, dude.
he
Like,
does.
he looks like
Yeah,
a brick shit house. Like, insane physique, like very weird physique for a basketball player. I
yeah,
wonder if that will hinder him as a jump shooter because it's not so easy to do that. Like, he has the same physique as like an Eric Bledsoe,
yeah,
Marcus Banks. These were not the greatest jump shooters, but nevertheless.
yeah.
Anyways, any final thoughts, man?
Did you? Yeah, there was a interesting report from Jake Fisher. I don't know if you saw that today.
Trey Young.
No, Jake Fisher reported that he's expecting front offices are going to be inquiring about Jaren Jackson Jr. on Memphis. Pardon me, on the Memphis Grizzlies because of because now Jaws on the trade block. So that's someone who I think would be very nice to have next to Scottie. I don't know. I'll get off. But I just wanted to leave you with that to see what your thoughts were.
I'm not really a huge fan. I mean,
Really?
honestly, like, I've come off of it. I've watched too much of him. I think I'm just at a point now where I just don't believe he's the type of player that you can win with consistently. He leaves so much to be desired as a rebounder.
Mm,
He's so soft. He's one of the worst finishers in the NBA. Yeah, he has a diverse skill set, but
mm,
it feels like at that price and the fact that, he's got the accolades, right? Because he's won an all, he's won a DPOY trophy and whatever.
yeah.
He just does not strike me as the type of leader that you would want, you know? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Gotcha.
All right, peace, man.
All
Take
right.
care. Daryl, not from Thailand. Where
Hey,
you in was it Taiwan?
yeah,
Shout
I'm
out,
in Taiwan. Yeah, shout
dope.
outs to Taiwan.
Shout outs to Taiwan.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
And shout outs
I
to
just went
Thailand.
to
Shout
I
outs to
just went
Thailand as
to
well.
can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So
I just went to
Daryl calling from Thailand. Okay, go ahead.
yeah. I just went to a pro basketball game last night. I took my
Okay.
kids. And the TPBL, Taiwan Professional Basketball League, my hometown team, the Kaohsiung Aquas. And I went in there, and on the jumbotron right before the game started, the first message that greeted me was "We the South."
Oh,
That's
I
the
thought
slogan for my hometown team. Apparently, "We the
I I
South."
I was thinking you were going in a very different direction.
What
I
did you
thought
think?
I thought it was gonna be coming soon, Emmanuel quickly.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. He'd fit in though.
He'd fit in great.
He'd fit in great. I think the Aquas shot like 5 for 25 last night from 3. So
He'd be a superstar. Anyways,
oh man, it was bad.
did you
It was
catch
a
the game?
horrible game. It was a horrible game. Yeah, man. Of course I caught the Raptors game. Yeah, that was a wild finish.
Well, that was insane, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I'm
wild.
not gonna lie. I actually wasn't too mad at IQ. Okay, comparatively speaking, I wasn't too mad at IQ this game. I felt like it was a mixed bag rather than just only bad. And I
Mhm.
think some of his really, really good plays kind of get maybe lost in the shuffle, but he did have
Agreed.
some really, really nice plays. I didn't. Okay. My problem with him earlier was mostly him picking up his dribble. He's not doing that nearly as much anymore. Now what he's doing is he's breaking down with speed, and when he sees anybody, literally anybody in front of him,
Mhm.
He stops. He keeps his dribble alive, but he stops and turns around and looks for a pass back. It just tells me that
He did that
he's afraid to
multiple
attack the
times
basket.
today, though. There was a
Yeah, he
play
did.
where he crossed half court and got trapped precisely because he picked up his dribble. Like,
Yeah, he still does it, of
there's
course.
multiple plays, there was a play last game, where he picks up his dribble and unfortunately he can't find CMB for a wide open dunk. There was a play today where, and again, like, because it's so rare for him to make the right play with the basketball, you're so surprised that now those plays now take precedent in your mind. You're like, he made an entry pass to Scottie Barnes.
Great.
So you skip, so your brain almost skips over the next 2 times that he misses Scottie in transition for a wide open dunk. So it's just like, you cost your team so many plays. These things should be automatic, but
yeah.
yeah.
No, I would still gladly trade him for a bucket of extra crispy, but not going to happen probably.
To borrow,
I have a
show.
From Chill. Yep. I have a theory about the NBA, the trend of the NBA, and it was really sort of made concrete in my mind with the whole, Trae Young scenario, and that is that gritty defensive effort is the new 3-point shot. What I mean by that is that, it became super, super trendy to, like, people were saying Steph Curry changed the game, and he did. And then all the kids had to shoot threes, and people were paying a premium for 3-point shooting. People were overlooking other holes in their game. As long as you could shoot, you would get the bag and you would be highly desired. I think now it's getting away from that. I think that teams are realizing that just the overall scoring talent in the league is just so high, the highest it's ever been. Like, everybody is capable of scoring 20 in the league, everybody. And
Right.
I think teams now are thinking, if we get guys with good defensive instincts and, like, physically capable of defending, good defenders, we can turn them into impact players as long as they have, a mid or average or slightly below average offensive game. We can turn them into higher impact players than really amazing scorers that don't defend at all. And you see that with the value of the Trae Young trade. And I think with Ja too. I think with Ja Morant 5 years ago would have gone for a huge haul, 3 years ago probably, and now he's going to get cents on the dollar.
Would you trade for him?
I would not.
Would you trade
No,
for?
He is exactly not.
Okay, Ja Morant, Trae Young, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis. Are there any of those players that you would be actually interested in? Let me throw Jaren Jackson Jr. in there as well.
Okay. Interesting. Right now, I would put Kyrie at the top of that. And the reason that I would put Kyrie at the top of that is because he is somewhat okay. I like assets that are undervalued.
Right.
And I think that Kyrie has he's overcome that image of 2 or 3 years ago when everyone thought he was a head case, he was a nut case, he was bad for the team. I think he's overcome that, but I don't think his value has completely rebounded from that. That still might pop into people's minds, and their anchoring bias will hold them back from valuing him properly. I think he'd be an amazing fit on this team. And I do have injury concerns about him, but not, I don't know, like AD, it's not a concern. It's a sure thing with AD. But AD would be second on my list.
I think it's almost like not playing has helped him so much. Right? Because guys like Darius Garland, Trae Young, Ja Morant, they have played and they've struggled and their numbers suck, right? With Kyrie, there's still that hope of like an idealized Kyrie. I think when most people think about Kyrie Irving, they still think about the finals in 2016. There's like almost like mirages, of like a compilation that runs through your head of the player that he is. He is the oldest player, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, among all those players. So it is interesting. I wonder how undervalued he will be coming off that injury. But again,
Mhm.
like Brandon Ingram, you trust the work. He's an insane worker. He's a hooper. You know, you trust the talent, and most importantly, you trust the feel. You know, you trust the
Yeah.
feel of a player like that. You trust the skill set of a player like that, and especially unlocking next to a Scottie Barnes, Brandon Ingram, potentially RJ Barrett. It would be a huge upgrade. Not to mention he's a really solid shooter. I think the John Morant stuff is just like, you know, Trey Young, John Morant, undersized guards who relied heavily on Twitch to get downhill and offset some of their defensive liability and stuff. I think once you take that Twitch away, they are just washed. There's
Totally.
not a
Yeah.
jump shot to go
Can do
to.
nothing. They can do
Yeah,
nothing. Yeah.
they can't do the jump shot thing. They can't do defense. I mean, Kyrie at his worst was still like an above terrible defender. He was never terrible, you know?
Mm.
Trey Young has been awful defensively since he walked into the league. So it's like I
Yeah.
look at guys and, you know, again, this is like if I'm splitting hairs between the Trey Young, LaMelo Ball debate. Neither are players that I would want to build a franchise around for sure at this stage. But at least LaMelo's 6'8". He breaks down a little bit, he's still 6'8", you know? There has to be some value placed on size. So it's interesting right now that the Raptors had this game closed out with a guy who was 6 feet tall, 6'1" and 6'3". Emmanuel quickly was basically playing small forward, or is it Elijah Martin playing small forward? Like we have the
Yeah.
smallest team in the history of the league, and we
Yeah.
won.
And CMB playing center. Yeah.
CMB, Scotty. I mean, okay, let's believe the rumored height of Scottie Barnes is 6'7". Let's believe the actual height of CMB is 6'6". Elijah Martin's 6'2", Emmanuel Quigley 6'3", and Jamal Shed is 6 foot flat. Is that's like the shortest team in league history. That's shorter than the
Yeah.
Warriors' death lineup.
But
Considerably
Scotty's not
short.
that short. Scotty and Mamu are the same size. I saw the close-up camera of them standing side by side, and they're exactly the same height.
Mamu's like 6'8".
But then
So
Scotty's 6'8".
Scotty's 6'8". Scotty's 6'8", CMB 6'6", Elijah Martin 6'2". Damn. That's
Yeah, that's
crazy,
tiny.
man. That's a really
Yeah.
small team. But again, the long arms, right? Everyone got long arms. Jamal Shed is the only guy with not super long arms on that lineup.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Emmanuel Quigley's 6'3" with a 6'8.5" wingspan. RJ Barrett's 6'6" with a 6'9", 6'8" wingspan. What's the gap between those two players in terms of like what they represent defensively, how capable they are of protecting the rim? Like there were many plays where Emmanuel Quigley and RJ Barrett against the Celtics ended up as the low man on a play, and I didn't think either one of them had a chance at doing anything with it. So
Yeah.
I think people maybe overstate the value of height when it comes to stuff like this. Like Cason Wallace is a great example, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that the Raptors probably looked at someone like Elijah Martin, like the OKC Thunder looked at Cason Wallace, and just said, if we can turn this guy into that type of player, because Cason is so strong. Like he is so strong. Like he may not look like built like Elijah Martin, but he is so insanely strong. And he's
Yeah.
I don't feel like anyone can move Elijah Martin. I saw Andre Drummond try to move him and he couldn't move him.
Yeah.
Strong.
Oh, I know. The guy's a tank. Yeah, for sure. That's what I mean. Like, I think the Raptors are once again kind of at the forefront of this new trend towards getting guys like Shed and Martin, like especially because you can still get those guys in the second round, get those guys, turn them into impact players. If you draft a guy in the second round that's got a really good scoring bag and nothing else, what are the chances he'll ever be an impact NBA player? Like practically nothing.
Mm-hmm. Medved Ted said Elijah Martin is built like Swipa. Swipa wishes he was built like Elijah
Yeah,
Martin.
no shit. Swipe. Yeah. Underneath all the padding, Swipe is built like that, right?
Exactly. There was also some
We all
comment
are.
by some person named Kareem or something about wearing the same hat for 3 years and etc. I just really like the hat, man.
It's a
I
good
don't know,
hat.
like
Keep
leave
the hat.
me alone, man. I like the
Yeah.
hat. I'm waiting for my Puma sponsorship so I can finally get out of my mom's basement and finally afford a shower. So, stop hating the player, man. Hate the game, you know?
That's right.
Anyways, yeah. I don't know. That's I don't know.
I don't know.
I think
Why do people care about your hat? Why, honestly, like if I hadn't read it in the chat or heard you mention it or heard people mention it over and over, people on the panel or whatever, like it never would have occurred to me.
yeah.
Never. Like that you wear the same hat. Like, so what?
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. No, my girlfriend's noticed this too. Like she tried to get me a hat. I don't know if I ever mentioned this. So she tried to get me a hat like a year and a half ago because I told her that people were complaining about it. So it was like, no, it's 2 years ago at Christmas. She tried to get me a hat. It was like a nice, really expensive hat from like Lids. Okay, we may have very different expectations of what expensive is. For me, expensive is like a $50 hat. So she tried to give me a
Okay.
$50 hat. And I was just like, return that shit. I don't want a $50 hat. I don't need a $50 hat. That's fucking crazy. I don't need a $50 hat.
Yeah.
And then I also tried it on and I was just like, nah, it's not comfortable. I'm very much about comfort. Okay. Like right now, I'm just like, I'm very about like what feels right to me. And yeah, like, I don't know. I think it's a good way to live life. I've been minimizing like a crazy person. Do you live with less or do you guys have like a lot of stuff? I know you have kids.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. See, my my wife is basically just like you. She wants to throw away everything.
Okay.
So, and I'm definitely not a hoarder. My dad, I grew up in a house where my dad was, I mean, he might win the Olympic gold medal for hoarding. Like it's insane.
Here's my closet. Sorry, my cabinet.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
my wife. My wife would throw away 2 of those 3 towels though. She'd be like, "Why do we need 3?"
These aren't towels. Okay, so the
Oh, are
top
they?
is
That's hard to see.
it's a bowl. It's a huge
Oh, I see
sorry,
now. Yeah.
there we go. So it's a bowl and
Mhm.
it has basically it just has like knickknacks and snacks and stuff. The middle is cutting boards, so it's 2 cutting boards, and the top is baking
Mhm.
trays. And
Yeah.
previously we
That's
had
nice.
like popcorn and chip bags, and it wasn't
Yeah.
cluttered necessarily, but it was needlessly cumbersome. And I feel like people don't leave space for space, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm
I
just
think
like,
I'm a little bit
yeah.
not I'm on the other side of things. I'm not a hoarder, but I'm definitely not a minimalist. Uh, I've got a different fishing rod for every day of the week kind of thing.
Oh, do you? Like literally?
Well, almost. Well,
Oh, okay.
that's a figure of speech. But yes, I have several different fishing rods for specific purposes. Yeah, I probably have like 9 or 10
Yeah.
for
Uh,
different yeah.
Andrew CMB for 3. That hat is gonna sell for thousands in the future, Rob.
Yeah, that's
One can
right.
one can hope, man. Okay, you know what? I should auction the hat. I should auction the hat for a good cause. I
Yeah,
should
man.
auction this hat because it is truly iconic at this point. I have done every single episode. Well, that's not true. I've done every episode with a hat with this hat. I've never worn another hat. So, in fact, auctioning this off would be like a crime.
Well,
But
when you hit 100,000 subs, somebody in the chat literally just said it. When you hit 100,000 subs, auction it.
auction at 100,000 subs, sign it and auction it. Yeah, my
Yeah.
signature is horrific. That is my one true thing about getting famous. If I ever did become famous, is like, oh no, people are gonna find out that my signature is basically illegible. It is an awful signature. I almost sometimes like want to pretend that my signature is not really my signature, like at the bank or something. And it's just like, oh, is that your signature? And be like, no. So yeah, like someday I'm just gonna like be super art house about it too. I'm just gonna like do a like I don't know, like an S or something, and be like, but your name's Rob. Like I don't know. I'm like that. I don't know. There are people like where I swear to God, their signature looks nothing like their name at all.
Yeah.
I wish I could be one of those people, just so it wouldn't be so ugly.
Just make it consistent and you can get away with whatever.
That is true. I at one point thought that I have wasted so much time writing my signature. I should have just made it a decimal. But then
Yeah.
there's just like a single dot, and people will be like, whatever, and they'll be like, you can't judge me because this is a safe space. But then I forgot that the whole purpose of a signature was to protect your, you know, identity and all that shit from documents. So I figured it would make it too forgeable to just make it a dot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I have to sign my signature for for work for sign-in sheets. We don't have a punch card. So, but I usually am lazy and I push it down to like the last day of the year. So I have to do an entire year's worth of sign-ins and sign-outs in like one span. And I find that like by the time I've written my signature, I don't know, like 25 or 30 times, my brain has like forgotten how to do it. And so I end up
Mhm.
screwing up my signature. I can't do it. I physically can't sign my signature after like 20 or 30 times in a row. I have to take a break. It's crazy.
You should have gone with the decimal.
I should have. That's exactly right. I should probably get a stamp. Well,
Yeah,
slow
so
learner.
you could never you could never be a baseball player, like, signing your
No.
card over and over and
No,
over again.
I'd end up like doing. People are like, "What is this?" I don't know. It just came out.
You need to work on those wrist muscles, man.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Scottie's first half today? Like, I thought
Mhm.
he's been so much more comfortable attacking off the dribble,
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
combinations, and I'm just like, is this going to get better? And I'm obviously no doubt that it is going to get better because he has a natural tendency to turn his back to the basket, right? Like when
Yeah, for sure.
he gets into his motion, there's a natural sort of inclination to, okay, let me protect the ball by getting the ball away from somebody. And the safest way to do that is to go to your default, and your default is to turn your back to the basket. And I think when you turn your back to the basket, it's a little bit like Emmanuel quickly picking up his dribble. It's a tick, and you have to override it, right? Because obviously,
Yeah.
like picking up your dribble saves the ball, turning your back to the basket saves you from getting stripped. Continuing on with the live dribble is what most great creators can do and should do,
Yeah.
frankly. Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, whatever. So the fact that Scottie is able to now comfortably do that, and even if he turns it over a couple times, I have no problem with it. Like, that's why I'm not highlighting the turnovers, not because I'm some sort of Scottie super fan. It's largely because he's doing exactly what I want him to do, which is to explore the game, explore the handle, explore, live dribble creation. And no, it's not the smoothest, and it's not, the it's not like a bullet train downhill, and it's not pretty, but it is fucking effective at times, man.
Sometimes it is pretty too. Like he's got some nice new counters that I don't remember seeing. Like he'll well, like the travel call.
Mhm.
I mean, that looked pretty smooth, I gotta say. Like that wasn't awkward what he was doing. Unfortunately, he dragged his foot, but every superstar does that, like you said, like 100 times a game. But he's got some really nice timing, like his hesitations and timings where he'll utilize those full 3 steps after picking up his dribble in a really like he can cover so much space. And I think that he's almost there. He's almost there. You can see the improvement year by year. This year, he's doing a whole bunch of stuff that I've never seen him before. Like how low he gets in his dribble, how confident he looks in his handle. Like he's getting by guys. He's not getting picked. He's not like he's able to get past guys that are handsy and they're not able to poke the ball loose. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it's just more controlled.
I agree. Yeah,
I
it's
really think it's coming.
like there's such a difference. Like when I listen to people say like, okay, well, those guys, 19 points, 15 points, 17 points. Like, I don't care. Like, you can get 25 points on role player buckets, and Scotty got a lot of role player buckets in the first quarter. Like, it was a ton of like dribble handoff coming downhill. You know, um, it's the self creation games. And again, it's like there's a differentiation between self creation in the half court and then transition buckets. Like Jalen Johnson, RJ Barrett get a ton of transition baskets, and transition it's different because it requires a totally different skill set, right? It's a skill set, and that is basically accentuated as speed and compact dribble, straight line, right? Giannis can do it, right? When he was younger, Giannis would get a lot of transition leak outs. Christian Brown. But if we load up the court and it's a late clock possession in the half court, like the ones that Scottie was facing in overtime and at the end of regulation, those are the hardest because everybody is poking their hands in. You have no running start. There's no head of steam. There's no like cross matching potential. Everyone's already set up. So, like, it's interesting. Tyrese Maxey, for as good a scorer as he is, he struggles in isolation. It's the only thing he
for sure.
can't do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is literally the one thing he can't do. Because coming off handoffs, he's elite. Pick and roll, he's elite. Just off of isolation, that isolation stuff that requires endless counters, the stuff that Shea is so good at, right? The stuff that Luka is so good at. That's the hardest thing to get down in the NBA. And Scottie may not be anywhere close to the Luka and Sheas of the world, but man, is he closer today than he was 5 years ago. So much
100%.
closer. And I
that's
remember there was like a video that I released on why the Raptors should trade for Kevin Durant. And this was like 4 years ago, 3 years ago when I, made the case that Durant was just so much better than Siakam as half the fan base lost their mind against me.
I remember that video well.
And I remember comparing Scottie Barnes to Luka in that video. And I said that there are similarities here. Like neither is a great scorer. There's like a big playmaker. And the way that they're able to sort of cannibalize space in the middle of the floor and, cut apart defenses, the difference is, of course, Scottie's a great defender as well. And so even if Scottie can't become like 100% Luka, if he could become 68% Luka with his defense, he's an MVP candidate. He's one of the 25 greatest players of all time. So he doesn't have to get all the way. But man, doing some of the stuff that he's been doing recently is very impressive. And the fact that he is not losing steam on the defensive end, because there's a lot of players that, like, you look at Denny Abdia. When Denny was a role player, Denny was a pretty good defender. This year, Denny's not a good defender at all. Jalen Johnson, when he was a rookie, he was a pretty good defender. Jalen Johnson's not a good defender anymore at all. Guys, is their
Trey Murphy
usage?
the third.
Trey Murphy is another example. So when these guys, when their usage ticks up, I feel like the defense goes to shit. And I'm not talking like it goes down a notch, like with Shea. Because Shea's defense has definitely gone down quite a few notches over the last 5 years. We're talking like this is an avalanche. Like it's gone down
Siakam,
8. Siakam's another great example. And last year I think Siakam had some really good moments defensively. Great moments defensively. But man, Mikal Bridges. It's another one. Bridges was an incredible defender in Phoenix. And then suddenly he gets to Brooklyn and they ask him to take on a larger load offensively. And he's like, I guess that's not my job anymore. So, I think the fact that Scottie is doing some of the stuff that he's doing offensively, I don't know if you caught the episode on Player's Choice, but we ranked out the top 10 two-way players and Scottie ended up 4th. I was very surprised.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I voted him 3rd.
Those guys, like Ron gave him some flowers. Like really?
Well, Chill voted him 5th. Can you guess the 3 players? Wow. Can you guess the 3 players who finished above him though?
Mobley.
No.
Okay, let's see. 3 players league wide, two-way players. Okay. Let's see. Anthony Davis.
Nope.
Really? Okay.
He finished ahead of Anthony Davis. He finished ahead of Mobley.
Oh, nice. Shea, maybe?
Shea was 8th. So Scottie was 4th.
Oh, yeah, I know they don't.
Shea was 8th. Chet was 9th.
Chet was 9th? Who are they? Man, let me think about this. Who are they rating him?
Kawhi was 10th. If I remember correctly.
Wow, I'm stumped. Two-way players.
So great two-way players. If you want hints, I can give you hints.
Sure. Conference.
Okay. Let me give a hint. 2 of them are international. from different continents. No, wait, that's a lie. Same continent.
Yeah.
Different sides of the same continent.
2 of them are from the same. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to guess Europe on that. So,
Western Europe, Eastern Europe.
that's my guess. Shoot, I don't know, man. I can't think of them. My mind is blanking.
One of them
Got to be Giannis. Giannis, maybe.
Giannis is one. Yeah.
Okay.
So Giannis was number 2. So Scottie was number 4. Giannis was number 2.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So I don't know. I can't think of number 1.
Two-way player.
Duh. Of course, Wemby.
Yep. Wemby was number 1. Can you guess number 3?
Yep.
Former
Giannis.
Eastern Conference Finals MVP, former Finals MVP. Thinks he's very smart. Has an affinity for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Jaylen Brown, number 3. I despise the idea that Jaylen Brown finished ahead of Scottie Barnes, but whatever. There's a lot of players.
Yeah.
I don't even think I put Jaylen Brown on my list, if I'm being honest. I didn't.
Jaylen Brown is a way overrated defender. Way overrated.
Yeah. Like, he's awesome offensively, but yeah. Let me just see. What was my list? My list was, weirdly enough, wait a second. What the hell? My list was Wemby, number 1, Shea, number 2, Scottie, number 3, Anthony Edwards, number 4, Kevin Durant, number 5, Giannis, number 6, and Franz Wagner, number 7. That was my list for best two-way players in the league.
I was going to say Ant, but then you said international, and I was like, huh. But yeah, I think I can see that.
Anthony Edwards, I think he finished 5th. So I was like very surprised that Scottie finished ahead of Anthony Edwards on a two-way list from PC of all places.
From PC, yeah, wow.
Like, Player's Choice does not give Scottie Barnes a lot of respect. I'm gonna be honest. Like, and the fact that Chill put him number 5, I'm just like, yes, the propaganda is working. I talk about Scottie Barnes like 15 times an episode. I just slip him in randomly, be like, Chill, do you want to know a stat? And he'll be like, okay, I'm with you, Pen. Okay, do you know how many players have scored 26 points off of their left foot this season in red shoes while grabbing 15 rebounds and 2 steals and 1 block? And he's like, I'm like, it's 3 players. And he'd be like, Scottie Barnes is 1. Yup.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
who are the other 2?
The other 2 are Scott Wayne Barnes and
your boy Scottie Barnes.
And your boy Scottie,
yeah. No, the propaganda is working. I think I'm just happy that there's a lot more than Scottie to root on. Like, there's a lot more than just Scottie for me to root for on this team. Yeah, like, I'm very enamored with the process of watching CMB. Like, it's been great.
Me too. It's game by game. It's like he couldn't do that a week ago. Like, it's incredible to watch. I love CMB.
Absolutely. And Elijah Martin, the last couple of games, I've been so blown away by not only like his tenacity and presence on the court, but rather how much Darko trusts him. Closing games, first guy off the bench Grady for him. Look, man, this is all I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted was a coach who actually rewarded players for actually playing well. And now we have one. Yep. I'm very thrilled about this. I'm thrilled about this.
To see that too.
Yeah. Anyways, any final thoughts, Daryl?
Yeah, one last thing. Got a kind of a funny story for you. Yeah. A little bit of a funny story for you. So my last credit card bill came and my wife was going over it, and sometimes yeah, I know. Sometimes the print is small and there's not much space between the lines, and the thing that you purchased and then the price, sometimes it doesn't line up exactly right. And so my wife saw YouTube membership, which was my membership to Pensare Basketball. It's the only YouTube membership I have. And then right underneath that was a fairly major purchase, and it kind of lined up. And she's like, "What YouTube membership?" And it's something like $500. Like it was a major purchase, And she's like, "What are you spending on a YouTube membership?" I was like, "No, no, that's the wrong thing. You're looking at that." But that's how she became aware of my subscription to Pensare Basketball.
Does she support? Does she support your support of Pensare Basketball?
She no longer cares once I clarified that it wasn't $500 on a YouTube membership.
New extra VIP tier coming up tomorrow, $500 or like $5 million. Yeah, I appreciate everyone who does that. I'm actually only subscribed to. I only have memberships to one YouTube channel myself, so I know how rare it is for people to do this. Yeah, so it's pretty dope that. So thank you so much. I've known you for like 5 years now from Facebook days. So
no, man, it's been more than that.
Yeah.
Time flies.
It's been more than 5 years.
Yeah,
6 years,
like 10 years.
10 years.
No, maybe not quite 10. No, but 6 years probably at least. It's from before the championship.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Back from Facebook posting.
So wait, are you saying that I've been a Raptor fan since before Scottie Barnes was drafted? Is that what you're trying to tell me here?
I know most people.
It's shocking.
That's news to a lot of people. Right?
My God, right?
They feel like you morphed into existence when Scottie Barnes was drafted by the Raptors in most people's minds.
There was a guy who was on Reddit who was talking shit about me, and he's just like, he's not a real Raptor fan. He's just a Scottie Glazer. He's only here for Scottie. And it was funny because I was like, I wonder what else he said to see if it lines up. And he's like, this is the same guy who was trying to tell you that Andrea Bargnani was going to be Dirk Nowitzki like 20 years ago. And I was like, you mean when Scottie was in his mom's womb? Like, what are we doing here?
So,
like, dumbass? Like, yeah. Andrew CMB for 3. Rob used to crash out in those Facebook groups about Fred. OGs remember. OGs definitely do remember.
Oh,
yeah. Anyways, man, I'm gonna get to. There's nothing. There's a little bit of thing. There's a word Schadenfreude. You're familiar with it, of course, because you're a well-read guy.
Yeah.
Nothing. In this world, I typically do not derive pleasure from other people's misfortune. There's only one person, maybe in this entire world, that I derive true joy from their displeasure. Do you know who that person is?
Joel Embiid.
It's not Joel Embiid, but he does coach Joel Embiid. It is Nick Nurse. And so I'm going to enjoy the hell out of listening to Nick Nurse's post-game interview. Is going to be really fun.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right,
man. Talk to you later. Peace.
For sure.
Someone said Swiper. Come on, man. But for real, maybe. Okay. First, we get to Nick Nurse. Then we get to Scottie Barnes.
Just what were the biggest causes for the miscues in that kind of final minute of regulation and then in overtime as well?
Well, I just really appreciate that his mouth is always open. It's just kind of funny to me. I don't know how to explain it.
We didn't get the ball in bounds once, I think. Is that the miscue you're talking about? Yeah, we didn't get the ball in once. What's that?
Just some execution stuff on the defensive end in overtime.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get the ball in on one, which was, that's a big miscue. We haven't had that happen to us all year. And yeah, we just got out of position a little bit on some of that. I thought we went to help a little too early and obviously left a too big a passing lane for those dump offs late.
I guess, what did you just kind of make of the 3-point struggles? This is kind of 2 games in a row where it's kind of been a tough sledding with a 3-point shot.
Yeah, didn't see a ton of great looks out there, but I think, again, we weren't really very smooth in our offensive execution. Again, most of those are going to come from some pressure on the paint, and we didn't get much to get many kickouts. Yeah.
Obviously, Scottie had a really big game for them. I
Yep.
guess, what was maybe kind of the struggle or.
Yeah.
Obviously, Scottie had a really big game for them. I
Yep.
guess, what was. Maybe kind of the struggle or anything to try to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, listen, I think that went in stretches. He certainly had some big moments, kind of piled up in a row. We did do some some decent jobs, turned him over a few times as well. Yeah, obviously, made some big plays at the end with his passing as well. Yeah.
Paul was obviously a late scratch.
Yep.
Right before the game. Just to your knowledge, what happened or what caused
Yeah,
it?
he just got some stiffness in his leg, and he tried to warm him up 2 different times, and he just couldn't get to where he could push off on it enough or accelerate.
In the third quarter, when you guys kind of flipped the game,
Yep.
Kelly seemed to be a big catalyst on both ends of the floor. Just what strides did you see him make today?
Yeah, he obviously, I think he scored the first 7 of the third quarter, and
He did.
hasn't really scored much since being back, so that's obviously nice to see. Even hit a 3, but had some really nice drives. Had a couple, I thought, good blocks and steals as well, which is why we ended up playing him, as much as we did down the stretch. He had a couple big plays there, and just wanted to keep another guy that had some, some offensive game going there a little bit.
What did you just make of Adam's minutes tonight? It seemed like he gave you guys.
Yeah, no, he was really good. He was really good. I thought he played his heart out. He was on the glass. He was really doing a good job with everything tonight. Yeah.
These, I guess, almost mini baseball series type games are, it's been a few years now that we've done them, but is this kind of a unique opportunity that you literally get to face this same team again tomorrow and try to make some adjustments?
Yeah, don't see this very often on a back-to-back, especially. Usually they throw a day in between them, so we get these guys back to the hotel quickly and get some rest up tomorrow and get to try again.
I know we say it about VJ all the time. It just always seems like he comes up big and in
Yep.
big moments. Obviously, he ties the game at 115.
Yep.
I guess what kind of just makes him so special, like in those clutch moments?
Yeah,
I just saw the background and I'm laughing my ass off, dude.
again, just pretty fearless and great composure and I think the biggest thing is you got to have the willingness to take those shots, to make those plays, and he obviously will step into them and do it. Yeah. Good. Okay. Yep.
Thanks, Nick.
Love it. Yo, boy.
Scottie, I know.
He definitely earned the chain tonight, dude. But if he didn't get the chain, I would give it to CMB or Elijah Martin. Good luck with those guys for sure.
You guys have had wins already this season where you haven't shot the ball well and still figure out a way to get it done. But what is this one? I think it was like 15, 16% from
Get the guy some shooters, man. Please.
3. What does this say about your ability to kind of win these gritty type games?
Show some resilience. We stayed calm. We fought through. No matter what happened, it was a 4-point game with 15 seconds left. And we still found out a way to get it to overtime and then win it overtime. So I think we showed a lot of resilience. We fought, we stayed calm, composed, did what we had to do to pull this one out.
What was your view of that final possession in regulation with the pass to CMB and then Jamal hitting the win or the tying bucket?
I think it was a good job by CMB. I didn't really have no options, I feel like. And, I just tried to put it to a spot where the defender couldn't get it. I think he did a great job. Maybe he should go up, but, he made the right pass and, it all worked out.
He's not wrong. CMB definitely should have gone up with that.
When you were a rookie, you played on a team that obviously didn't have like Precious played center. You did a good job of it, but you guys were smaller.
I played center most of the day,
Yeah, when Jakob is out now, CMB, obviously you're playing in court too, but CMB is stepping into roles that's somewhat similar. How do you find he's managing it?
He's doing an unbelievable job. Physicality.
Look, man, I will say this. This is the best teammate, franchise player teammate in the league, period. Right? Him and Shea and Jokic are like on a different level as teammates, especially as it pertains to how they praise and credit their teammates for their own success. Is truly like, it's not forced, it's not, fake. You can feel it when it's fake. Oh yeah, other guys did their job. Nothing bothered me in basketball more than players who do not appreciate their teammates. I feel like this is something about Chris Bosh that always used to kind of rub me the wrong way. This is something that, Fred VanVleet, sometimes just kind of pissed me off when he would do this. The difference, I agree. Jalen Brunson is also up there. Jalen is amazing when it comes to this. Uh, but yeah, like I feel like maybe the guys who are good at this, they weren't like super duper stars. Anthony Edwards, weirdly enough, is really good with this too, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of it feels to me to be a prerequisite that a franchise player hold their teammates in high regard and hold them to a high standard, right? So it's nice to see like how genuinely he praises his teammates, especially like CMB and guys who do well. But also, like you see the clip where he's empowering someone like Emmanuel quickly after he hits the game winner, and he's just like, we're gonna show, blah blah blah. So it's just like he's just a really great dude, man. He's a really, really great dude.
Being able to set great screens, roll, and just adjust on the move, that's hard to do. Just adjusting game and just try to keep listening to what people are trying to tell you. He's listening, he's trying to work, he's finding ways to just keep getting better and helping us out there on the floor. His defense has just been incredible. He's rebounding the ball versus these bigger guys, big teams, but he's super strong and physical, so he holds his own.
Scottie, that group you finished with fourth quarter and overtime, you had 4 or 5 really good defenders, a lot of switchability in it. Did it feel like you were able to create an advantage with that group, just as athletic as it was?
We was just trying to fight, to be honest. We didn't know who their go-to guy was and who hands the ball was going to be. Just trying to find a way to get out of his hands, deny everybody else, and just keep trying to make everybody else play. We showed a lot of grit right there.
Watching the game, toward the last 2 minutes of the fourth and then through overtime, it really felt like almost a duel between you and Maxey. As just watching it, did it feel like that? It's just coming down to who would score the most baskets between the two of you?
Nah, I don't think it was like that. Of course, he was going down, getting the ball. But, we were just trying to find ways to score the ball at that point.
Finds a way to deflect from personal criticism, personal glaze or whatever to make this like a one-on-one type of showcase. It was a little bit like that, but I appreciate that he would try to dismiss it.
Coach was calling plays for me, and it was working.
Darko was saying that you could write a book on how impressive you are at the end of the game when it comes to making plays on both ends of the floor. How great is it to have a coach that has that much confidence in you?
I always talk about it. He's always going to fight for me, these guys. He's winning multiple press conferences and talked about me crazy. He sees the vision before anybody else sees it. So you got to love him for that.
I exist, man. I exist. I'm joking. Yes, Darko definitely sees the vision. And you, if you would like to see the vision, will definitely want to tune in to my interview with Scottie's trainer, Brian Macon. We're definitely going to talk a lot about the vision.
A lot of people are kind of just seeing Elijah at this level now that he's getting this opportunity, but seeing him as much as you have in practice and over the summer, what have you learned about him over the last several months?
Oh, I already knew about Elijah when he was at FAU. Crazy story. We was doing pickup runs versus their guys. Like, we just, summer runs, you just have some random runs. But, I live in the Boca area. And they had like their little squad going versus like, we had a couple pros out there. But, he was trying to guard me, talking about, I'm locking that up, coming for you. Hit him with some turnaround phase, like, calm down, man. But he showed that dog, he showed grit, I already been seeing it. Even last summer when we was playing some runs, he talks that trash, he got the edge on his back. He's a dog, he wants to fight, he wants to win, and when he steps out there on the floor, he's not letting nobody run over him. He's taking that step and trying to go into someone's chest.
You see some of that against Maxey tonight?
For sure, he was talking a lot tonight.
Scottie, at what point did it enter your thought process to miss that second free throw, and why did you think that was the best play?
Oh, after it was only point eight on the clock, I already was thinking it. But I just wanted to get a confirmation from the sideline, but I didn't really know what they were saying. Like, you know, it was kind of a mix of emotions. Some people were like, yeah, I guess. Some people were like, nah, just make it. So I'm just turned around like quick. As soon as I touched my hand, just threw it off. CMB was ready for it, smacked it down the court. Game over. I don't know what they was doing on the clock. It should have been over, but yeah, it was a good decision.
Does that factor into it at all, just the night that CMB is having on the boards, knowing that he's there and maybe can get that tap and kill the time?
CMB's amazing, man. He's amazing. Great rookie.
Philly guards can kill people with speed. How do you feel your team did tonight, shutting them down? I know VJ had a pretty weak game. How do you feel about the?
Nah, he still creates a lot of pressure. His force, his aggressiveness, going to the paint, he still creates so much pressure. We just try to do our best job trying to stay in front of him. You know, both of those guards are super fast. Tyrese Maxey, when he gets downhill, you know, you got to watch out for being on the side. You know, he's able to draw that foul, or he has that quick floater, quick layup. Just got to do your best to try to contain those guys and put them in tough situations.
Obviously, the crowd was really into it tonight, especially as we got into overtime. And at the end, they were, chanting MVP as you were at the free throw line.
Oh, I can't. I'm so happy someone asked him about this.
And, obviously you don't know any different because you've never played in another market, but how does it feel to have a fan base like this that's so unique as you're heading into, these tough games?
Well, I've been 5 years. Just listen about 3 of those years. They were still loud up, cheering, going crazy for us, no matter what it was. Besides when we get beat by 30. But other than that, they were pretty loud, excited, cheering for us no matter what. They still show up to games, show love and support. We know how special this place is. I think everyone knows that. So, Toronto's super special.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks, guys.
A question about MVP chants turns it into a question about how awesome and special Toronto is. It's interesting. I wonder if the media training is helping, right? I really, really hope that the people who took the time to support this guy before it was cool to support this guy feel proud of themselves for seeing that vision, that what Scottie was talking about with Darko. It's like, oh, Darko sees the vision. I remember arguing with people whether this guy could be at least the third best player on a championship team someday. Pascal Siakam versus Scottie Barnes was a debate. We were having Fred VanVleet. Oh, Fred VanVleet shouldn't cater to Scottie Barnes. The reason I wanted Scottie to be the leader of this team is because I knew that he would be good for everybody on this team. I knew he'd be good for the city, the community, the team, the vibe, the culture, and ultimately winning, development, all the things that we had been lacking, because I saw in Scottie a lot of the same qualities that I saw in Kyle, which, were relentlessness, competitiveness, selflessness. There's a type of person in this world that they don't like people who go at them. They don't like people who challenge them. They don't like people who compete against them super hard. The story that he described with Elijah Martin kind of going at him, goading him, maybe even like talking a little bit of trash to him. Some people maybe don't like players who go hard at them or say that they're going to shut them down. I would imagine that Scottie loved that he was like, you know what, this guy's not afraid of me. This is awesome. This is a guy I want to go to war with. The mentality has to be that, right? I remember, working as a director, I would always gravitate towards people who challenged my opinions. I wanted to be around people who could tell me when I was wrong, who, weren't impressed by me and just were genuinely like and I wanted to get the hell away from people who were just like, yes, sir. Yes, you're right. You're so cool. You're so impressive. I always resisted people like that, Whenever I was around a person who would be like, oh my God, like I really admire your career and you're super cool. And, how can I be like, I didn't want to be around that person at all. I remember there's so many directors I can give you stories on, young directors that I worked with as PAs on one of my sets, and I just saw it right away. I'm like, that woman, that 18-year-old girl, that 20-year-old guy, they're gonna be special. And almost always they have been special. So, again, you see it, and with Scotty, you saw it. Like, you saw it right away. He walked in with a sense of confidence and that quiet, calm, not cocky confidence of I can run a team my way. And all I want to know when a guy walks in with the confidence that they can run a team their way is what's that team going to look like for everybody else? And right now, I'm seeing what it looks like for everybody else. I'm seeing what it looks like for CMB. Do you realize like how cool it is that like Scotty, when he was a rookie, was being chastised for younger guys getting opportunities and bullshit, by Fred VanVleet, even though Fred VanVleet did say some nice things about Scottie Barnes, of course. In the second year when Scotty was struggling, it's like, Fred was talking about like younger guys getting opportunities. Scotty's had the ball a lot. And then here, you have Scottie Barnes talking about his rookie teammates, and it's a totally different vibe. The vibe is so different. So, Bueno Kitty saying Alex Wong giggled and clowned his name. That set a tone for perceptions. Hope he had some salt on that crow he had to eat. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So, I think we as Raptor fans, we haven't had like a superstar in a really long time. Kawhi Leonard was the last one. I hope we are witnessing the birth of a superstar here. I've been calling Scotty a superstar for like a couple of years now, so a little bit like the boy who cried wolf. But I got to tell you, this year I have really, really, really seen some incredible steps into that direction. And on a night like tonight, where you're missing RJ Barrett, you're missing Jakob Poeltl, you're missing Brandon Ingram, again, 3 huge stabilizers for the floor of your offense. And Grady Dick is just MIA, and Sandro Mamukelashvili is MIA, and those guys are expected to put up at least 25 to 30 points with those guys out. And you lose Jacoby Walter, and again, that's the guy who's probably expected to put up 15 points with those guys out, and you just find a way. You find a way. Man, you quickly shoot 6 for 22, and you find a way. Scottie Barnes deserves that chain tonight. CMB deserves a lot of praise tonight. Elijah Martin deserves an apology from me for, maybe souring his draft night on our channel by saying like I was upset about it and it was a mistake and blah, 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 blah. You know what? If he keeps playing like this, it's not a mistake. Bringing people like that into your organization, like real culture setters, dogs. He talks so much shit, and I love it. I love it. I love that one of our shorter players, ironically, is one of our toughest players. Like, I love that his team feeds off of that. I love that he's not afraid. I love that he tries to take the rim down every single time he attacks the rim. It's awesome. It's very, very cool. This game was awesome. Yeah. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a beautiful, beautiful night. And also to our members, our, very, very, very appreciated members. We will have a members live tomorrow because it is a little bit too late. And I do have the members live queued up, but it would be so stupid. I did not expect this game to go this long. I did not expect it to be a game that required a 2-hour, 2.5-hour live stream. So I apologize. Again, this is like, I think 2 weeks in a row that we're doing our Sunday live on Monday, but it will be good. We will cover a cool topic. I'll see y'all tomorrow around 5 o'clock before the game. We'll do our members live, which was what we did last week as well. Please like the video on your way out. I would very much appreciate it. And last question here from Military Man, one of our members. Has Martin taken Grady's spot? I think it's possible. Also, it's worth noting Elijah Martin's on a 2-way contract. There are restrictions on how many games 2 ways can play. They may actually, if he continues to play like this, consider maybe changing his contract. Peace, guys. Have a great one. Good night.